All right, so Jeff Sessions, our wonderful fucking attorney general. I don't know how we go down the hall of history of, good attorney generals and end up with Beauregard as our fucking guy. I don't know. Who seems to think that bringing back the DARE program is going to work.
Jesus Christ, he's a fucking idiot.
That's so stupid.
I mean, there's no like way around it. He is just a fucking idiot.
He really is. And speaking of drugs and enforcement and all that stuff, how about that recreational use in fucking Nevada that they sold out? They didn't do a national state of emergency or something like that, like everybody else is saying. No, but it's amazing.
Yeah, not quite a state of an emergency kind of thing, but they did have an issue where they had to take some action. But
there's a dispensary in Mesquite, and I think there's going to be one in West Wendover as well. So
yes, there is. Yeah, they are. They when I was down there, they were building it.
So. I mean, don't go over the border, and if you come back with more than like a couple of ounces, you're going to get in big trouble in Utah. But from my understanding from police officers that I've talked to, a little bit less, like an ounce or less, and they're just going to be like, they're just confiscate it and give you a ticket. So just giving you guys that public service announcement out there. And
I mean, don't take legal advice from a podcast.
Don't take legal advice from a podcast.
Don't take legal advice from a podcast, but trust us.
We're going to have somebody.
If you do this, don't cross the border and come right back.
Yeah, that's just
take a day. Take a day. Go have some fun in the casino. Go have a few drinks.
You know what? Craps table. I came up $70 last time.
Yeah.
Up $70.
Yeah, see, and I'm not much of a gambler either, so that'd be like I'm good. $70 is good. That's like my meals for the next 2 days.
I was like $70. I'm done. It was great.
Right.
Craps table was nice.
Yeah,
I won my PS3 playing craps. So
yeah, you've got to give the highway patrol a chance to change shift.
Yeah. And they work 12-hour shifts, people. Cops work 12-hour shifts. Just so you know that.
Yeah.
Anyway, like I'm saying, don't take legal advice from a podcast. But the thing is that he's trying to also roll back the marijuana usage laws in the country, and he's trying to tilt at windmills. It's not going to work because everybody is enjoying it.
The cat is out of the goddamn bag.
And places like Colorado and Nevada now are going to be like, we don't know what to do with all this extra money for our school programs.
My grandmother used to tell me all about how pot was stupid and nobody should do it, and she doesn't understand it, and she doesn't get these people who are always talking about how it's good for you. There's no way it's good for you. You hear her talk about pot these days, she's like, it should be recreational. It should. It's very safe. And it can do a lot of good for a lot of people.
Oh, news programs, how we've finally got them to see the light.
Oh, Grandma.
And old people in news.
Well, the great part about it is right now we're at a point where you have states that have for a period of time had legal recreational marijuana.
And the world
is
not
ending. And they have not had significant problems. They've had a reduction in crime rate. They've had so many positive outcomes, and they've got so much money now.
So anyway, that's not what we're bringing up here with Beauregard. I just thought it was interesting. Those couple of fun little confluences that happened that brought everything together there.
No. We were talking about happy things.
Yeah,
and ignoring.
No,
ignoring
we did that thing we do on the show. We were doing that thing we do on the show where we talk about something else that we'd rather talk about because we're trying to avoid talking about that.
What we have for you guys right now is the prepared statements by the Attorney General of the United States to the Alliance Defending Freedom. Which, if you're wondering who those guys are, go ahead and Google them. I'll give you guys a minute to do that. Pause the show and come back to it and be like, yeah, that's a Christian privilege group. That's a bunch of people that are their First Amendment lawyers dedicated to like the propagation of Christian stuff. Like they were on the side of Hobby Lobby kind of thing.
They're the people. They're part of that group of people who spouts the word freedom and has no fucking idea what that word even means.
Oh yeah, and he does that many times in the speech that we have here. And the interesting thing is like the speech wasn't supposed to be released to anybody. He was refusing to do so, and then all of a sudden it turns up on a right-wing blog, like in like the Federalist or something like that. I can't remember which one it was. It's some crazy as shit fucking let me see, what's the website? The Federalist is the one that brought it up. And so I'm not going to read the whole speech to you guys, but I highlighted a handful of passages that I think we should talk about here. It says, "Our founders wisely recognized that religion is not an accident of history or a passing circumstance. It is at the core of the human experience." All right, already fuck you. "And as close to a universal phenomenon as any. Each of us considers with awe the stars in the sky and at the moral code within our hearts. Even today, in the rapidly changing world, the majority of the American people tell Gallup that religion is, quote, very important in their lives."
Define religion. Define fucking religion. Oh, almost every single culture has superstitions. We know how superstitions are formed. It's bad correlation causation logic.
Right.
We know how this is done.
And even the Gallup poll he mentions, that's a slim majority.
Yeah, not.
I mean, it's not an overwhelming majority. It's not even above. It's in the 50th percentile.
Well, the amazing thing to me is that the way he worded everything in here is dog whistles. Everything in here is just like for that crowd that's there. And it says each one of us considers with awe the stars in the sky.
There it is.
I look at the stars in the sky. Yes, I'm in awe, but I'm not saying, wow, look at the amazing thing that God did. That to me, when someone's like, look at the stars in the sky, look how complex the universe is, I'm like, that says to me there is no God. That says more evidence for not being a God than for like one that really gives a shit what happened in the Middle East 2,000 years ago.
Yeah.
But just the Middle East.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
On a tiny little dot.
Yeah.
But the apologetic there is, but we're the only life that we know of in the universe. Did you get that part about that we know of?
Yeah. I can't wait for them to find something on Europa or somewhere in the near solar system, just so they can be like, look, we're not as special as we think we are.
There's a ton of evidence that there's a lot of reasons to believe that life is far more abundant in the universe than we think it is. Just because we haven't traveled that far. I mean, considering how many planets we've been able to check for life on, one.
Yeah.
And not even that thoroughly.
Right.
One other planet.
Yeah.
One.
Okay, he says this national commitment to religious freedom has continued throughout our history. There's that religious freedom thing that we were talking about. And it has remained just as important to our prosperity and unity ever since. When Alexis de Tocqueville visited this country, he noted, "In France, I had almost always seen the spirit of religion and the spirit of freedom marching in opposite directions. But in America, I found that they were intimately united and that they reigned in common over the same country."
Oh, okay. I want to parse out that quote, actually.
Yeah.
Because what I think it's referring to is that where religion would go in France was authoritarianism, where it was a controlling factor. What he was saying was that religion and freedom can go hand in hand in America because the religion does not have a controlling power. That's the only way that quote makes sense, right?
Yeah. To me, it does. To me, he's like, in France, we don't allow religion to run roughshod over the freedom of people. And he's saying...
Or that religion would want to. Yeah, like that's why they were going in opposite directions.
I think he's trying to use a negative quote as a positive. Honestly, that's what I think he's doing here.
I don't think he's interpreting that quote correctly.
So. And so
I don't think he's interpreting that correctly.
He continues, he says, "And of course it was with faith that inspired Martin Luther King Jr. to march and strive to make this country stronger yet."
All right. That bit there.
It gets worse. Let me read this next line and I'll let you chime in on that one. "His was a religious movement The faith that truth would overcome. He said that we must not seek to solve the problem of segregation merely for political reasons, but in the final analysis, we must get rid of segregation because it is sinful. Just because he used the code word sinful doesn't mean it's a fucking religious movement. It is a equality movement, you fucking prick.
He didn't, he partnered with many groups, some that weren't religious, but also Black churches were one of the only safe spaces for Black people that they had. And so, it makes absolute sense that cultural hubs for Black people would be the beginning of a civil rights movement. But also, I don't remember any of his policies being like, and our God too. He was a religious man, but it was all an illegal and a freedom and an awareness campaign.
Yeah.
Right. He was about as secular as a minister. Was he a minister? Yeah, he was a minister.
He was a minister.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's about as secular as a minister can get.
Which, unless you're doing year as an atheist, that's
yeah. Well, he had a firm understanding of how these things should work.
Yeah.
Well, and also, as a minister, I don't know how he just skipped those parts about slavery in the Bible, but then maybe he was going, well, it wasn't about race in the Bible, which is true. True.
Mm-hmm.
But it's he just, it just really bugs me. It really bugs me because these are the motherfuckers that are super duper racist, and now they're using Martin Luther King Jr. and they keep doing this. They keep bringing him up as if they know what he would say, and it's only the white racist motherfuckers that are doing it.
Need I remind?
They're hiding behind a shield. Yeah.
Need I remind everybody here that in his confirmation to the fucking Department of Justice, we had what's her name? Sorry, I'm blanking on her name. The nevertheless Elizabeth Warren did the nevertheless she persisted thing and read the letter from Alveda King on record about how much of a racist bigot that Jeff Beauregard Sessions was.
Right.
And here he is in this in with no shame at all using the name of Dr. King.
Of course he would.
He is a slimy little worm of a human being. He is so disgusting.
No, it's that using Martin Luther King is the new I've got Black friends.
People are just saying it all over the place. I have a dream. Look, that guy over there. I have a dream. All right, let's see what he's got a lot more, and I can't wait enough time to go through all of them here. But the speech is going to be available through the show notes. I'm going to just do a couple more here. It says the government's role was to provide the great secular structure that would protect the rights of all citizens to fulfill their duty to relate to God as their conscience dictated, and to guarantee the citizens' right to exercise that faith. And there's some stuff in here that when you parse it, it's like, okay, that's not a bad statement. Except for this whole, do their duty to relate to God as their conscience dictates.
That was where it threw me. I'm like, no. There were people back at the time who were like, I'm not going to church anymore.
Yeah.
And then,
fuck you.
Yeah. And then the Church of England came in and said, you are, and you're giving us your money, tithing taxes.
The government would not take sides and would not get between God and man. Sorry. And religious rights were natural rights, not subject to government infringement, as the Virginia Assembly once eloquently declared.
What? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Government is not going to get between you and your religion. That's the thing. But once that religion tries to enter the public sphere of politics, it has every right to defend itself. The secular government has a right to defend itself against encroachment from religious meddling.
They do. They completely disregard the fact that you cannot have a freedom of without a freedom from.
Oh, and they hate being reminded of that.
Oh yeah, they hate being reminded of that. They hate being reminded that it's essentially that a government cannot, or its citizens cannot force any one religion on anybody else.
Yeah.
Well,
you can't have the freedom to choose a religion, to practice a religion, without a freedom from all of the others.
Exactly. And that's exactly the point, right? Is like they go, why can't we have God in school? The majority of Americans are Christians, which is becoming nebulous at best. But it's like,
what kind of Christian?
What kind of Christian? Do you want Catholic? Because a lot of you Protestant motherfuckers aren't going to be happy about that.
Yeah. Hey, remember
the 10 Commandments?
You remember? Yeah. You remember that whole school prayer thing? Yeah. No, that wasn't secularist. That was Catholic. That was a Catholic versus a Protestant.
Yeah, it was. It was
a Christian sect. One Christian sect versus another Christian sect.
Yep.
He says, this Department of Justice will never allow this secular government of ours to demand that sincere religious beliefs be abandoned. We will not require...
No.
We will not require American citizens to give intellectual assent to doctrines that are contrary to their religious beliefs. Okay, so I'm going to start my hookers and blow church and watch as the government infringes upon my rights. I mean, watch. They would, because that's not legitimate according to the powers that be. You know, oh, we can have as long as it's Christianity, we're okay setting this kind of thing. But if anybody else, Rastafarians, you know, if you have Native Americans that want to do certain types of, you know, peyote and stuff like that, I'm probably fucking that up. But if they want to do mind-altering substances, oh, well, we can't allow you to do that.
Native Americans can on their reservations.
Yeah, yes. On the shit parcels of land that we gave them.
That we assigned them to.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
They're basically the Jewish ghettos.
Yeah.
So I was surprised to see on you know, the digital cable that we have hooked up in the house here. It's like there is a Native American like station.
Oh.
And they actually had their own like cartoons and stuff on there. I'm like, oh, this is interesting.
Interesting.
And some of it done in the whatever language that I was watching on there. I'm like, that's fucking cool. I'm happy to see that. But at the same time,
it was probably Navajo.
Yeah,
in this area.
So. Oh, the Navajo language is so cool too.
Yeah,
it really is.
Anyway, so back to Jeff Sessions here. He had like 3 more paragraphs of shit that I could go into here, and I'm not going to, but he's just saying that this administration and upcoming guidance, because he's talking about we're going to be revealing some shit soon, you know, will be animated by that same American view that has led us for 241 years. And that every American has a right to believe, worship, and exercise their faith in the public square.
Duh!
Unless
it
causes a commotion.
Well, no. You totally have the right to practice your faith in the public square. Any Muslim student, hell, any Muslim teacher would be allowed to pray 5 times a day.
I fear for their safety, though.
Oh, me too. Goodness. But legally, they would be allowed to do such a thing. They just couldn't make their students do it. Hey, Christians, think about that. Are you cool with that? No? Aw, now you get it.
So he wraps it up here with this terrible sentence, and just wait till you hear the word that he uses. He says, it has served this country well, and it has made us not only one of the tolerant countries in the world. One of the tolerant countries in the world.
One of the tolerant? What the fuck does that mean?
And it has also helped make us the freest and most generous. Thank you.
Nope.
Freest.
Not even close.
Freest is not a word. Not a word.
It's not a word, and it's not true.
We're not freest. We last time I checked, we still have the biggest fucking prison population, don't we?
Oh, just by that alone, we have not only the highest percentage, but the highest in number.
Yeah,
that's over China.
That's disgusting. So Jeff Sessions, you shriveled prick. Man, I can't stand this guy. Go read the full text of the speech on with the show notes that we're putting out there. But wow, I mean, there was about 7 or 8 other full paragraphs of just mind-bending bullshit where it's just like, well, yeah, of course you didn't want this to come out to the rest of the world because you're saying, hey, we're going to play favorites. That's pretty much what the Attorney General just said.
Everyone go vote next year. Everyone go vote next year. I swear to fuck, if you vote Green Party, I'm coming to you. and you are not going to like what I have to say. It is going to be a very unpleasant hour.
Don't worry. Don't worry. Next year's the midterms, and I'm pretty sure there are no green candidates for House or Senate seats.
Yeah, because they don't care.
Because they don't care about those. They only care about the one.
Yeah, they don't care about city council. They don't care about, librarian. They don't care about any of these fucking small government roles that you should be playing. No.
You want to be taken seriously, third parties?
Grassroots.
Yeah.
Has to start from the bottom up. And we've been saying that for, 2 years now.
There's an actual functioning independent party in Vermont.
Yeah.
Start with
the legislative branch. That's where you need to start.